Recorded Books presents an unabridged recording of War, Peace, and All That Jazz, 1918 to 1945, Book 9 of A History of Us by Joy Hakim. Narrated by Christina Moore.
Preface. War and the Start of a New Century. Gavrilo Princip, a lean, angry teenager, was a member of a terrorist organization, the Black Hand. His country, Bosnia-Herzegovina, had broken from Turkish Ottoman rule, only to be swallowed by the giant Austro-Hungarian Empire. Princip was determined to set Bosnia free to become part of a greater Serbia. Some radical Serbians had paid to train the Black Hand. On sunny June 28, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, and his wife, Sophie, arrived in Bosnia's capital, Sarajevo. It was a Serbian national holiday, and not the best choice of days for a conquering leader to arrive, but he had come anyway, and ceremonial and military events were planned. The royal party climbed into 4 open cars. What no one there knew was that the Archduke was sympathetic to the aspirations of the Serbs. He had angered his uncle, the Emperor, by suggesting that the Slavs, Bosnians and Serbs, be given separate powers and autonomy within the empire. 6 Black Hand members, including Gavrilo Princip, all trained to assassinate, stood along the route the motorcade was taking. The first of them threw a bomb. It blew off a wheel and wounded 2 soldiers. The police quickly arrested the bomb thrower, and the procession sped off in the 3 remaining cars to its destination, the city hall. Princip, disappointed, headed for a cafe on Franz Joseph Street. Meanwhile, the Archduke carried on with his state duties. At the city hall, he remarked, without humor, "So you welcome your guests here with bombs?" After the ceremonies, he asked to be driven to the hospital to see the 2 injured officers. It was an unscheduled visit, and the driver, Franz Urban, made a wrong turn, which took him into narrow Franz Joseph Street. There wasn't room to turn the car around, so Urban stopped before putting the car in reverse. Gavrilo Princip, who was standing on the sidewalk outside the cafe, couldn't believe it. There was the Archduke just a few feet away. He stepped forward and fired 2 shots. Both Franz Ferdinand and Sophie bled to death in the car. Exactly a month later, on July 28th, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. Russia and France were allies of Serbia. Within weeks, all of Europe was at war. George Washington had warned Americans to stay out of foreign entanglements. President Wilson agreed. Besides, there were German Americans and British Americans, and divided opinions on this European war. The United States stayed neutral. On May 1st, 1915, the German embassy in Washington placed an advertisement in the leading New York newspapers. The ad said, "Travelers intending to embark on the Atlantic voyage are reminded that a state of war exists between Germany and Great Britain. Vessels flying the British flag are liable to destruction." This warning was published next to an advertisement for a British passenger liner, the Lusitania, fastest and largest steamer now in Atlantic service. That same morning, the luxurious Lusitania set sail for England, filled with tourists, business people, and others who wanted to get to England. You couldn't go by plane then. Many of the voyagers were nervous about the trip, but passenger ships had traditionally been safe from military attack. 6 days later, within sight of the Irish coast, most were preparing for a festive last evening dinner. A German submarine, the U-20, was about to cancel the meal. A single torpedo was fired without warning. 18 minutes later, the Lusitania was beneath the waves. Of 2,000 passengers, 1,198 drowned. The captain, who had ignored official warnings and instructions.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.